Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Katrina Raspel and Friends. And when I say welcome back, I'm extending it to our guest as well because this is round two of interviewing my son, our author and artist, Joe Humphrey. Now, I've only done the second round of questions once with Kat Gina Cole. So this is still sort of like their maiden voyage, and we're going to see how they go. How the hell are you, Joe?
I'm doing pretty good today. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know if you don't want to share this, you don't have to. We didn't talk about it in pregame or pre-show, but you told me a really fascinating story today
Yeah, I don't know if I can share that.
about your landlord.
Yeah, no, I don't think I should share that.
You don't think you should share that?
No, I
I'm
don't think so.
sorry, y'all. I gotta renege on that. Then it just crossed my mind while you were sitting there, but that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think that when you get into that realm of what his job is, I try and like keep things as behind the curtain as possible.
It's not pervy, I promise. Well, for most people, it's not pervy.
It's not
But
for us.
all right. So we're going to pretend I didn't say that.
All right.
If anybody wants to know, email me privately. And I'll tell you. Okay. So, how you been doing? All right.
Yeah, I've been doing great.
Yeah, your office looks real nice.
Thank you. It's a little bit messy right now because I was looking for something and I ended up having to pull it apart trying to find some stuff, but I got it mostly back together again.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
So, we'll just jump right into it. Now, you are in Victoria, Canada,
Yes.
which I don't know the population. I know it's quite a small island.
Yeah, it's not that small. There's not a lot of population on it. There's a lot of woods and things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it,
Vancouver Island.
now it used to be just a lot of retirees that lived there, like a lot of older people. Is that still the
No,
case?
it's not quite as Florida as it used to be, but it's definitely it's got that dynamic still to a degree.
Well, you can't even call it snowbirds because man, it's cold as hell up there.
Well, it's the nicest part of Canada, I think, as far as like
Well,
climate goes. Yeah,
yeah.
but so I mean, a lot of Canadians retire here.
So you've lived in Canada for I want to say 25, 26 years now.
I think I came up in '99.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
was the
26
'90s when I
years.
came up. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I did Y2K here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, it was a couple of years. So I must have come up in '98.
Because you got married in 2000
Mm-hmm.
and we came up for that. And you'd
Yeah,
already
you know
been
what?
here.
That was actually you're right. It was probably '99 because we had been there for about a year and a half. So maybe '98, '99. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, not about necessarily Canada,
Mm-hmm.
but in general, what do you
Yeah.
like best about where you live right now? That's a good question for you and very timely.
As far as just the environment,
Rock on
like
with your bad self, your new house, whatever.
um, as far as living in Canada, it's I know that you don't want to get too political on this thing, but it's definitely I'm feeling much more comfortable where I live now in terms of nationality. Um,
Yeah.
uh, but no, it's great. I like living here. It's very especially this area that I live in is very peaceful and very
Okay.
chill. Yeah, and that's what I need right now.
And you just moved into a bigger place, so that's got to be nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm all moved in and enjoying that very much.
Well, so what specifically do you like other than feeling safe
In Canada,
and not in America? Yes.
um,
We know you're not draft
I
dodging.
like. Well, no, I like the. I like. I feel like I have a much more balanced perspective on the world and on kind of what's happening in the world than I
Mm-hmm.
did when I was in America. I feel like in America you have a very sort of skewed perspective on the world. It's hard to get a good sense of Americans' place in the world when
Mm-hmm.
you get a much clearer picture of how the world views us and how we interact with the world when you're
Mm-hmm.
outside of it. Yeah.
Do you still consider yourself to be American?
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's harder than it used to be,
Yeah.
both just in terms of uh, pride and in terms of like talking to
Yeah.
people. Just like you don't necessarily want to wear an American flag on your clothes anymore. It's not the same as it used to be.
Well, we don't do that here either because it's misread sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't used to be.
So, do people there now or before treat you differently when they recognize that you're American?
Not often, no. Occasionally, I've gotten maybe since I've lived here, I've had maybe like 5 or 6 incidences of someone being like crappy to me because I identified as American in my conversation with them. But
Mm-hmm.
not very. It's very very seldom that I get any kind of pushback on it.
Do you feel like Canadians have a realistic impression of what Americans are like?
I think they have a more realistic impression than Americans do.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
I
That's
think that
really
Americans have a very distorted view of themselves. And I think that Canadians get the problem though is this is what I used to tell Sandra before I moved here, is that when you live somewhere like where we live that is a very touristy place, then
yeah.
you're dealing primarily with tourists.
Mm-hmm.
And tourists aren't necessarily always the best representation of
Mm-hmm.
the best a country has. And that's true of any country, just people on vacation, but in particular Americans tend to treat the rest of the world as like an amusement park
Yeah.
where it's like you're there to entertain us in our Americanness. And that's not necessarily
True.
how the people
True.
that live there feel.
Yeah. So in 1982, so you would
Yeah.
have been about to turn 7.
82?
Yes.
No, I would have
We
been
lived,
4 in
we moved,
1982.
huh?
I was 4 in
4, I'm
1982.
sorry, 4.
Yeah.
We moved to England.
Yeah.
And that was my first time. Now, we lived on Guam, but that was a real isolated situation. And there was so many Americans there.
Yeah.
So England was my first time to just really immerse in a different culture where they had an opinion about
Mm-hmm.
Americans. Now in Guam, it's part of America and they see themselves that way, or at least they did then. And so it wasn't that extreme of a change, but going to England, it was very different because they weren't real fond of the Yanks. And I remember that our neighbor Kate, who lives across the street from us, told me, and I was saying, why do the British have such a bad impression of Americans? And she said, well, for one thing, all of the Americans that are here for the most part are from the Air Force Base, and they tend to be pretty rowdy.
Mm-hmm.
And also, a lot of the British are still butthurt from World War II when the Americans didn't necessarily present themselves well there. They married a lot of the women and took them away. They also left a lot of little babies behind them.
Oh, I didn't
And
know
so,
that.
yeah, and so that caused an impression of Americans that wasn't especially favorable.
Mm-hmm.
And also, she said, you've got to figure we don't get that much. We get American television, but not that much. We get Dynasty and Laverne and Shirley, and we don't get shows that really demonstrate a lot of real American life. And, back then it was the time of the sitcom and the dramas. We didn't have a lot of 60 Minutes and stuff like that to share. So that really gave me a perspective that, and of course this was well before the internet, but it showed me that a lot of the impressions that people got about Americans were from literature and from media, not social media, but like TV and movies and such. So I didn't know how much of that kind of had drifted upward to Victoria. And of course,
Mm.
because Canada's closer, I'm sure they have a lot more interaction with Americans than.
Well, that's the thing is they're constantly going back and forth across the border. It's not like you have to travel out of an airplane to get here. It's pretty accessible. You can take a ferry to Washington.
Yeah, and have.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Yep.
That's fun.
So, so that's what you like best about where you live now is your relative safety, and that it's very beautiful. I remember
Yeah.
your previous home was next to this place that looked kind of like a castle and was actually used in the X-Men movies, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, for a couple of them. Yeah, for the Xavier Mansion.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so right now you are also right on the ocean, and so you can see it from your house.
I can.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I think I know this, but I'm not sure. And it's, you're all grown up now, so you might have different answers. But what's your favorite meal?
Okay. Specifically, my favorite meal is chieftain chicken from the Bingo Barbecue at Disneyland.
All right, I can endorse that. I really thought you were going to say steak and potatoes, but that makes absolute sense.
No, that's if I could eat anything, it would be sitting in Adventureland next to the Jungle Cruise, eating chieftain chicken and drinking a Coke, and that's my favorite thing to eat.
Is that the skewers of chicken?
Yep. I like the beef ones too, but the chicken ones are the best.
I've not been able to duplicate that Polynesian sauce that they use.
Nope, I've tried.
Yeah, it must be some kind of proprietary thing that the mouse is holding on to.
Must be. They got a cookbook, Disneyland cookbook. That's like a.
Ooh.
It's like a. So you can make like knockoff versions, and it did not have the chieftain chicken in it. So I was bummed.
Wow.
Everything
now, one thing I know that is available elsewhere are the Dole Whips.
Yeah, Sandra really likes those.
I got a Dole Whip at Six Flags, and it was literally called a Dole Whip.
Well, Dole makes them. It's a Dole thing.
Right. Because I also got it at the Dole Plantation in Hawaii, and it was much better there.
Yeah, they have them at like the mall here. You can get them at like a.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So just like an Orange Julius or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same deal.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So what is your dream time like?
When I'm dreaming?
Do you dream? Do you have dream memory? What kinds of dreams do you have?
I dream for sure. They're usually pretty visual. I get pretty like pretty in depth with my dreams. Like they're very involved usually, and I wake up and I usually regret that I lose all of that. You know what I mean? I wake up and I know that I had like really complex thoughts and really complex ideas, and they probably were just gibberish, but who knows? But I wake up and I'm like, I had all these thoughts and they're just gone, and it sucks.
Wow. It's kind of like being high, where you have all these amazing thoughts, but if you were to look at them sober, you'd be like, well, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Who cares if giraffes' necks were an inch shorter? What would happen?
Then there's just times that you look at it and you go, "Whoa, oh, that's pretty cool."
Right. So, do you have adventure dreams? Do you have dreams that could happen in real time? Do you have fantasy dreams? What kind of dreams?
They're mostly usually like fairly connected to my life in some way. Yeah, it's not very often like really outlandish things. It's usually pretty grounded.
Do you dream every night?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
If I sleep well enough, yeah. I haven't been sleeping great lately, so I haven't been dreaming as much.
So, what they taught us in psych class is that they still don't know why we dream. They know a little bit about how we dream, but they don't know why we dream. And they're saying that, and I'm not sure I'm sold on this, which of course they said a lot of stuff in psych class I wasn't sold on, but they said that but because of the area of the brain that lights up when we're dreaming, that area does not have the ability to create new faces. And so they said that when you dream, Even if it's somebody that, if you dream about somebody you don't recognize, that it's somebody you saw in a crowd somewhere or at the store and didn't register. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's true?
I mean, I imagine if someone said it that has more experience in that realm than I do, then probably.
I think they made that shit up.
Really? I don't know.
I do, yeah.
I mean, I just have to defer to people whose job it is to figure that stuff out. But it is a very okay, so you're saying that, but how do you know that?
Right.
But I mean, we can make up all kinds of scenarios. I don't know why we couldn't make up faces.
I would think.
But
And they
who
also
knows?
say you don't. Well, see, and this is what threw me off too, because I always heard you can't dream in color. And I
Oh,
know that
that's
I've
not
dreamed
true.
in color, but I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm seeing the color or if my brain is telling me that's red.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure. Well, I mean, we don't know for sure what's happening when we're dreaming because all we have is our memory of what our dream it was. And so, we can guess based on our memory, but the memory is so vague,
Sure.
Like you wake up, even if you had a really vivid dream and you wake up like, wow, it was a really vivid dream, you
Mm-hmm.
still are only remembering kind of like it as if you watched it as like a very loose movie,
Yeah.
For me, at least.
Probably a reason we forget that stuff right away.
Yeah, because it's probably not worth anything. It's probably just completely useless.
Real possible. So, I think I know the answer to one of these,
Okay.
but I want to see because I bombed on the steak. What animal do you most relate to and or enjoy the
Yeah.
most?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would say my daggers. They're very cool. I don't know that I necessarily relate to them, but I definitely connect with them.
But you're not one of these people that, oh, I'm a horse person or I'm a cat person or I
Nah,
didn't think so.
not really. I just like anything that's nice to me and isn't too big. I
I
don't
don't
like to go
know.
near cows and stuff, but like horses and cows, I don't want anything to do with those guys. But
They're
um,
unusually large.
I don't want anything that can stomp me to death.
Do you remember that I've always said that I would not own a pet that could take me in a fight?
I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was always my rule is I was not going to have an animal. I mean, I think it's that I don't trust animals not to snap.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always afraid that if an animal snaps, that it's going to just break bad, and I've got to be able to take them down if I have to. That's a horrible way to think about your little fur buddies, but yeah, if
Yeah.
somebody's walking away, I want it to be me. 2 legs instead of 4.
Sure, that's fair. I mean,
Now,
it's
I
the
didn't
same
even
thing.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
But it's the same thing with me and the big animals too. Like I don't want anything that can kill me.
I didn't even know what a daegu was. I thought it was some kind of ethnic slur or something until I talked to you and you told me about them. And they're sweet
Yeah,
little things.
yeah, yeah. They're basically like kind of a cross between a chinchilla and a gerbil. They're diabetic. You can't give them anything with sugar in it, so they need a really specific diet. But they're super easy to care for. They're super social and friendly. At least mine are, and they're just so interesting. I love them.
Yours
You want me to,
love you. Yeah.
you want me to throw a picture of them up on here?
Yeah.
I can do that.
Y'all look
I
at
don't.
this. You're going to love these little critters.
All right, how do I do that?
You can find your way.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'm just looking for the present image file. All right, I'll get that to you in 1 second.
All right. And this is your second round of dagus.
This is my third round of dagus.
Third round of dagus.
Yeah.
Because they don't live exceptionally long, right?
They live about 5 to 8 years.
Okay, yeah, that's when
That's a
you're
good
old,
run.
that's not much time.
It's
when you're young, it's forever.
not loading. There we go.
Look at that. That's Willow, right?
That is Willow, yes.
Now that's the most friendly of them, right? Is it?
She's the one that comes out the most, yeah.
Well, she is just precious. And then you got Olive and little Lucky, right?
Right.
And Lucky is lucky because I told you to buy her.
Yes, she was.
And
We were on the fence with Lucky because we only wanted two, but there was a third girl and she needed a home, and so we said, okay, we'll take her.
did we say okay?
Yeah, it
Or
took a little
did
bit
you
of
say
talking.
okay?
Well, I said okay, and Sandra agreed with it.
Surprise!
And she was fine with it. She wasn't on board at first, but once I told her that I was doing it, she said, okay, that's cool. We can deal with that.
That's wonderful.
And it turned out to be great because she's wonderful.
And you had to go to the mainland to get them, so you
Mm-hmm.
traveled
I
to
went on a ferry in a storm and
met a stranger.
met a stranger who was super cool, and he
the
was
Daegu connection.
yeah. I went out to the parking lot, got the Dagus, and went back on the ferry.
Yeah.
Had to wait an hour for the next one though.
So I'm wondering about these. What is the best and the worst jobs that you've ever had?
Oh,
Because you've had some awful jobs.
I've had a lot of jobs.
I think the best one's probably writer. If I just pull that one out.
If you want to call that one a job, that's the best job. That's the one I like the most.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish that it was more lucrative. But the worst job, there's two. One was night senator at Burger King, where after the shift was over and everybody went home, you went in and cleaned the restaurant and the grill and all that stuff. That was really nasty. I did that for 2 days and said, nope, I was out. And then the other one was the writing erotica for a newsletter.
Oh, yes. That was not a fun job. Although I was actually, because there was a time you and I were doing this job together.
Yeah.
And
independently of each other, but
independently of each other. But
not working together.
Fielded one for me.
Yeah.
And the person I was working for came back and complimented me on how excellent it was. And I couldn't tell them that you had done it.
Oh my gosh.
It was this really, busty girl in a flannel shirt and leaning on an axe. And you had to caption it. You said, I'm a lumberjack, and that's okay.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah. And the boss was just rolling over there. I thought I was just brilliant.
Well, I'm your Cyrano de Bergerac.
That's, and I'm a very sex forward kind of person. I'm not into slut shaming. I'm not into kink shaming or anything like that. Sure. I'm a fan of as it harms none pornography. But man, that was a gross job.
It was just like they would come back to me and be like, yeah, people don't know what etc. means. And I'm like, really? It's like, yeah, you need to write to a 3rd grade level. I'm like, a 3rd grade level? She's like, yeah, we think that our readers are about at a 3rd grade level. So I had to write porn that was
for
9-year-olds. But the adults with the
learning
capacity of a 9-year-old. Wow. So it's just like that was odd. It was an odd job, and it was uncomfortable, and they didn't pay me very well. They were supposed to, but they just never were on time with the money or anything like that. So
that's too bad.
And it was like 10 or 20 stories a week, at like 2 pages each, and it was just draining because they had to be specifically within these like very narrow parameters and
certain word limit, and
yeah, it was rough.
Yep. I remember I can't remember what they were, but I remember there were certain words you couldn't use.
Oh, lots of words you couldn't use, lots of concepts you couldn't use, and
right, which could be limiting, unfortunately.
In that job, you end up telling the same story a bunch of times.
It's very boring, honestly. You think it would be fun and sexy, and it's just not. It's very boring.
It sucks.
Like, oh, look, more tits. What can we say about them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not love that job.
No.
So this one, I'm curious to see what you say. Have you ever seen a ghost? And if so, what happened?
Okay. I'm going to. This is controversial amongst the two of us.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen a ghost. No.
Okay.
And I don't mean that in any sort of like. I'm not definitively saying my feelings on that subject.
Mm-hmm.
I know there have been times where I've been very sure that I've seen things that were really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that my concept of what ghosts could be is so different from what people think of as ghosts
Mm-hmm.
that I don't think that whatever I was seeing or experiencing was necessarily anything that people would call a ghost.
Okay.
So I think that it was more along the lines of like, you know, a temporal shift between realities or something like that,
Interesting.
where
Interesting.
I'm seeing a person from a different time and place,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily that they're dead or that they're aware of me or anything like that. I just think that maybe there's just a little glitch in the matrix,
Mm-hmm.
and you're seeing something that you weren't supposed to see. You're seeing the people between the minutes from that episode of the Twilight
Right.
Zone.
Right.
Remember that one where they
Mm-hmm.
would rebuild the whole world in a second?
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
legitimate paranormal phenomenon as far as the explanation for people seeing ghosts.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
I've made
is
that
that
one up for myself.
one is that there's the repetitious ghost,
Yeah.
which is where somebody completed an act so many different times over and over that they're kind of burned into the fabric of time. So they don't interact with you. They can't see you. They're just going through their
It's
motions.
just a loop, yeah.
That's also what's said to be why there's the idea that ghosts walk through walls.
Mm-hmm.
Is because they walk through areas where there were not walls when they were there.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is that you are seeing somebody from the past or from the future or from another parallel timeline, and you did just blink wrong, or that you slipped into an area between the worlds kind of, and that you're blending that over. And what prompted that idea was the increased use of hallucinogenic drugs, where people were feeling like they were time traveling more and going to other realms more, and were having similar experiences that were being described.
Sure.
So interesting. So
yeah,
this next one, now we've only got up to a half an hour left for this interview. What music, whether it's the types or the specific songs, constituted the soundtrack of your past?
Well, for massive swaths of time, it would be The Wall by Pink Floyd. That was a pretty important album for me.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of like if I'm thinking about like eras of my life,
Mm-hmm.
Like The Doors was a big one for a long time.
Yeah.
PJ
Harvey.
PJ Harvey, yeah, for sure.
Randy Newman, yeah. Tori Amos.
Less Tori Amos in these days, but that was a very brief time. That was like 2 albums. Mm-hmm. But I was really into her. I mean, like now it would be like I really like Lana Del Rey. I really like let's see. I've been really into Bruce Springsteen lately.
Was that having anything to do with the movie?
It was before the movie. Thank you very much. The movie was fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. But I enjoyed it as someone who was already a very big fan of that album and of Bruce Springsteen
and of Jeremy Allen White.
Sure, yeah, he's good. Oh. He's really good. He's got that old time actor look, like he looks like somebody from like the 50s or something.
Yeah.
With Dustin Hoffman from the 70s or something.
Yeah, he could play a lot of different actors, honestly, and singers.
Yeah. It always kind of bums me out when people are like, oh, he looks just like Gene Wilder. He should play Gene Wilder in a Gene Wilder movie. And it's like, why do you want there to be a Gene Wilder movie? Like, his life was not like that interesting. It was just kind of sad and kind of like it's quiet.
I think they were just pinging on how much he does kind of look like,
Yeah, for sure. He does look like
especially in
a
some of his headshots.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean
Yeah,
the resemblance is definitely there, but like I don't. If I was Jeremy Allen White, that would bother me a lot.
yeah.
So I kind of like feel like kind of a little bit cringy about like when people
Well,
say
he
that.
was not viewed as a traditionally attractive person.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
he was an odd looking guy, and he's kind of
very
a
unique. Yeah.
odd career. You know, like he didn't really he didn't go. He had a lane. You know, he had a very specific lane
Yes,
that he
he
stayed
did.
in. So it's
But
not like he was.
have you watched interviews with him?
I watched Inside the Actor Studio with him. I think that's the only one that I've really seen. I saw one with Richard Pryor where Richard
Hmm.
Pryor wasn't seeming very kind to him.
Gene Wilder seemed like kind of a strange dude.
Yeah,
But no, I mean I'm not saying bad guy or anything, just a quarter step off of other people.
yeah,
And I think that's
yeah.
what gave him his genius, really.
Sure, sure.
But
Well,
we could say that about Stanley Kubrick. We could say that about a lot of different famous people. That
hmm
part of why they're special is they don't think like everybody else. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
it's funny that we do value genius so much and live to be impressed by other people, but then we're just so stunned that they're not just like us.
Yeah, yeah. It's a fine line between what is it that David St. Ovens says? A fine line between genius and stupid. Or-
Did you watch the new movie? Because I did not.
I did, yeah.
Those who don't know
Unfortunately,
what we're talking about, it's the new Spinal Tap movie.
yeah. I saw it in the theater, and
Oh,
I wish that it had just been an extra on a DVD. That's about as much as it
oh, is
needed
it
to
that
be.
bad?
It's
I
not that it was
didn't.
bad. It's not that it was bad. It just wasn't needed. It was nothing. There was nothing in it that was felt like I
Mm,
was getting something new. It just felt like kind of a retread and
mm,
sort of just like here's these guys, but they're really old now.
yeah, the second Spinal Tap movie I didn't feel like was very good.
Oh, the straight to video one.
Yes,
Yeah, it's about as good as it deserved. You know, it's just to go straight to video.
which is too bad because Rob Reiner is a pretty good filmmaker.
He's got his moments.
Yeah.
That Stand By Me is really good.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Misery's pretty good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, plane, train, bus, car, or boat?
Not bus, not
Not the
car,
bus.
or not bus, not boat.
Okay.
I like driving. You know, I prefer driving over all of
Hmm.
those. Um,
You're
I've
really
never done.
good at long distance drive. I'm not, but you're really good at long
I
distance
I enjoy a drive. You know, as long as I
road
know
trip.
where I'm going and I know how to get there, like I can, as long as I can,
Hmm.
not get us lost, I'm
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, I like driving.
I think some of that influence comes from your dad because your dad was a real big fan of the road trip,
Yeah.
and it just kind of made me crazy. I've never loved it really.
Hmm. I don't get the opportunity very often since I moved to Canada,
Sure, sure.
but it's just we don't have a lot of places we go to. You know, we don't travel to
Yeah.
see family really. Um, we don't go on vacation to anywhere but Disneyland.
Hmm.
So, I fly down to see you once a year or so, but other than that, I don't get to travel much.
Yeah, that's true. It's too bad because you're real good at it.
No, I like it.
And
Yeah.
you had times that you used to go out to Florida too and see
Mm-hmm.
friends.
Yeah.
So that was always a good trip for you.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's that was really a nice vacation for me.
sure, sure. Okay.
That's true.
Well, those are the new 8 questions.
Okay, that's all of them.
That's it. There's 8 of them.
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Do you have
we did
anything
it.
you want to share? What are you doing? Now you're doing something new. Can you talk about that or no?
I guess so. I don't think there's any restriction on like I can't talk about what it's about, but I can talk about what I'm
Hmm.
doing.
Do it.
Um, there was an anthology that came out this year called something about the Stand, but the Stand by Stephen King. There's an anthology of stories that was put together by someone named Jamie Flanagan, excuse me, who is Mike Flanagan's sibling, and it was basically like all these different writers, like Chuck Palahniuk and Chuck Tingle and Mike Flanagan, who was Jamie Flanagan's brother, and anyways, it was all took place in the world of the Stand, and it was really popular and really successful. So they're doing another one that takes place in the world of The Shining by Stephen King, and so I'm writing a story for that. It's I've finished the first draft and I've gone over it a few more times, and I think it's pretty good, and I'm really excited for it.
I'm real excited to read it. You know, it's one of my favorite stories, and I enjoyed the movies in different ways. The first one, the Kubrick movie, was definitely my favorite of the two, but you couldn't really relate that movie to the book very much. It was kind of like its own animal.
Yeah, for sure.
The second one I thought was quite good, but it was very I wasn't mad at it. It's not like I wanted, my time back or
yeah.
But it was a little bit preachy. It was more into the social commentary, and I remember the guy from Wings was in it, and Heather Locklear, I think, was the
Steven Weber and Rebecca De Mornay.
Oh, see, there you go. I got the Steven Weber part right.
Yeah, well, the first one the book was written by an alcoholic who is still an alcoholic and still a practicing alcoholic. And then the TV movie was made by someone who was a recovering alcoholic and was very much about that, being a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah. It's interesting because in the book, it does really lead into the temptation and how brutal it is. And then the second movie was more like, you bastard kind of thing.
It's very, very self-punishing and flagellating.
It was. So I don't want to see it again. The second one.
I watched it a second time and I was not happy with it. But,
now, Dr. Sleep, however, the sequel was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was really good.
I thought it was more of a love letter to the people who read the book, The Shining.
Yeah.
Because it seemed to connect into the energy of the book a little bit better than either of the movies did, I thought. And certainly, if you look at the book Dr. Sleep, which was written by Stephen King and his son, if I'm not mistaken, or was it just his son?
It was just him. It was just him.
Just the son?
King. No, Stephen King wrote it.
Stephen King wrote Dr. Sleep?
Yeah.
What am I thinking of? What book did Joe Hill write?
Nothing to do with Stephen King.
Okay.
He wrote a story in the Stand book, I think.
Or Owen or somebody. One of the two.
Owen wrote a book with Stephen King. And that was called Sleeping Beauties. And that was apparently, I didn't read it, but apparently
I didn't read it, but
Dr. Sleep was just Stephen King writing a sequel to The Shining.
Anyway, Dr. Sleep was excellent as a book. And it translated out to film very well, I thought.
I really liked the movie. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
That was Mike Flanagan.
So I did get to read or at least hear some portions of what you're doing with your version of your take of the Stephen King, The Shining world. I thought it was wonderful.
Thank you.
Hope that people have an opportunity to read this because I would like to read that anthology, and I hope that I'm going to see you in it.
I hope so too. It's an open call, so it's not definitely. I'm competing for it.
So this is kind of the NaNoWriMo of Stephen King world right now.
Well, it's competing for. I think they said there's like one spot, but if there's good stories that are good enough, that they'll open up more. So
that's great.
That's hopefully what happens because I would like to read as many as I can.
Well, I look forward to seeing what happens with that. I think it's a great project, and I'm excited that you told me about it, that you're participating in it. It's great to see you writing something a little bit different because I don't get to read the stuff that's different from your vampire stuff.
Yeah.
Because I can't read my son's erotica. I can't do that.
No, I'd rather you didn't.
So I don't.
That's good. I appreciate that.
I do not.
That's the direction I prefer.
But we have a shared audiobook producer, and Rachel, who I've also interviewed here, says it's just great. He really loves Bride and thought that that
Okay.
was just excellent.
Oh,
So
good.
I took her word for it.
Well, I appreciate her saying that.
Yeah, she's good folk.
Yeah, totally.
So, well, do you have anything to add before we finalize then?
I don't think so.
All right. Thank you for going round 2, and I will come up with a third set of 8 questions because this is just too much fun.
Yeah.
And yes, folks, we do talk like this all the time when we're together. So I'm glad you got to be a fly on the wall for me talking to my wonderful son, and I hope that you all enjoy him. I know you will just as much as I do. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you next time.